Governance. Okay. So governance is a main topic. It's more focused on the main preparations. Okay. In today's class, what we are going to see is we are going to see about governance, the basic aspect of governance. Before that, a brief outline about governance topic, which we are going to cover for another remaining classes. Okay. Then we'll see about idea about India. Then we go for the governance topic. Okay. You can have space, you can spread and sit, no issues. Still, Corona is not over, correct? Okay. Be safe. So, good evening to online candidates also. And if I'm fast, let me know it so that I can slow my pace because we have offline also. How many classes? This will be around 8 to 9 classes of governance topic. So first, starting with governance, we just see the term constitution and then we go for governance, correct? So my basic question is, what is constitution means? Your understanding. Is that topic is dealt for you, constitution? What topic is being dealt in constitution for you? If you're not able to understand, you can stop me, no issues. Okay. Right now they are focusing on center-state relations. Almost over, okay. So my question is, what is constitution according to you? No technical definition is required. Your understanding, yeah? Rule book, okay. Constitution means rule book. Then apart from this, your understanding, no technical definition is required, correct? A law, set of rules, Bible of the country, okay. Framework. It's a framework, okay. Then any other interpretation, okay. Guidelines to which government should work, okay. Basic framework. Your understanding, I'm not asking any technical definitions. What do you understand the term governance, constitution means? Binding on citizens, okay. Binding on citizens. A framework to govern ourselves, okay. Supreme law, okay. So we just take this basic 3 ideas of constitution. Can you say on what basis you say that constitution is the rule book or supreme law, where we can identify that in constitution? How you state that constitution have this character? Can you understand my question? Okay, one is preamble. Okay, one is preamble. Okay, can I ask you the question in preamble? I think you studied constitution, correct? Preamble. What was the amendment done in preamble? 42nd Amendment Act. What are terms being added into it? Secular, socialist, democratic. Democratic? Republic. Okay, then what are other terms being added? Just type your answers. Secular, socialist, republic. I'm asking what term is added into the constitutional amendment, 42nd Amendment. Integrity, right? Can I ask you an interview question? This is very simple. They will not ask in UPSC. Okay, prelims and all. So can anyone say the preamble verbatim? This was a question asked in interview. Say the preamble. What are the starting words of the preamble? Huh? We are hereby or we the people? We people of India, correct? Okay. Solemnly resolve. Okay, can you finish off the entire preamble? Just for understanding purpose I am asking. Okay. Sometimes it's a UPSC question also, interview questions. Don't go on by heart right now. Okay, just have an idea how UPSC sometimes ask very factual questions like this. Okay. So preamble is one such thing. Then what are other things we can say that it's a supreme law, frame book, any other aspects according to you? One is preamble, that's correct. Okay. Please understand, preamble gives the value systems. What are the value system means? Please understand, once you get into civil services, for what you're going to work is, you're not going to work for any political party or any personality. You're going to work for the constitution, and the primary goal of the constitution is what is said in preamble. Can you understand the point? And what are other things in the constitution we can relate with these terms? Just for understanding purpose, that's it. One is preamble, then any other thing apart from this? Huh? DPSP. Next thing is DPSP. Directive Principles of State Policies, correct? So these are few areas where we can say that constitution is framework, rule book or supreme law. So what is the relationship between constitution and governance is? Please understand, governance is applied area of constitution. What is the applied area of constitution is? Constitution was designed in 1950s, correct? We are in 2021. 70 years is gone. Lot of changes are happening in the system and constitution is also evolving, correct? So you need to have better understanding of that. That is have a biggest impact on our system. So that we call it as governance. A practical example for that thing is how many of you came across this Article 370? Probably 1 or 2 years before this was a big debate in India, correct? What is regarding Article 370? Article 370. What is that Article 370? It's regarding Jammu and Kashmir, correct? You know Jammu and Kashmir. Can anyone say what preamble value was set by the government, union government, for taking out Article 370? Anyone have an idea? Just use your common sense. If you're not able to understand, please say it to me, correct? I'm asking Article 370 was right now scrapped in our Indian constitution, correct? Article 370 is regarding Jammu and Kashmir. All was done by the government relating with preamble. Can you say in what values of preamble we can relate here? Just use your common sense, that's it. Integrity. Apart from integrity, any other thing, you can make a guess. It's no issues. Huh? Equality. Please understand the term of equality. So what union government asked us, why one particular state should be given so much importance when compared with rest of India? So we need to create equality. They never created equality, right? What they have done is, they never created equality, correct? They say that we want to create equality with the state, but from statehood they have moved to union territory, correct? That's a political debate. So this is all what we call it as governance, correct? So what's my point is, if you want to have better understanding of governance, you need to have a better understanding of constitution, right? Basic understanding of constitution is more important for understanding governance. Keep that in mind. That's the point what I want to say here. Okay. So what are the recent happening in India regarding constitution? Election is one. Apart from elections, any other thing? Anything regarding governance? Okay, CAA is there. Okay, Citizenship Amendment Act. I'm asking last 1 or 2 months. Anything regarding constitution is happening in India? It will not be very specific. It will not be very specific or explicitly we can relate with constitution. But that is one thing happening in India regarding constitution. Okay, I'll just give the news article. Protest is one. I can give a news article. Can you relate with constitution? Recently, government came out with rules for OTT platforms on social media, correct? Can you relate with constitution? How that is related with constitution? OTT platforms on social media. Right now, government created rules, correct? For the first time in India, we have created it. Can anyone relate with constitution? Right to? Freedom of press. Is there any freedom of press in constitution? It's nothing but related to Article 19. What is Article 19 is? Freedom of speech and expression. My question is speech and expression is absolute right in India? Absolute right means can you enjoy to the core? Literally no, correct? There's a term called reasonable restriction. And that rules and regulations are aligned with reasonable restrictions, correct? Why government can make rules and regulations for OTT platforms on social medias? They quote Article 19 saying that you have freedom of speech and expression, but there is some reasonable restrictions. Why government is interfering on OTT platforms and social media? Why government won't interfere? That's the question. Why they want to regulate it? Why they want to regulate it? Immoral contents. What that immoral contents is? Verbal, not only verbal aspects, what other things government says that this is not good for the society, so that we want to interfere and create some regulations, correct? One is pornography, okay. One is violence, extreme violence are there. And apart from this, the sexual contents, correct? All these are there. How many of you read the rules and regulations and gone through it? Probably it can be a mains question. Go and read that. How in technology fundamental rights are transforming. Just go and check it, correct? Don't think that, okay, it's a news article. I don't know where it can be related to UPSC preparation. There's a direct relations. This is all what we call it as part of governance. I'm just giving an example for understanding the topic governance. We'll see that technically in what is governance means. Okay. If you're not able to understand, please let me know it. Okay. So right now what I'm going to say is what are the topics I'm going to cover in governance for next 7 to 8 classes or maximum 9 classes. Okay. Okay, first topic will be governance and good governance. Next topic will be e-governance. Third, civil society organizations. Fourth, disaster management. And please understand, this topic is in GS paper 3 also, disaster management. But here what we are going to see is only from administrative angle. What does administrative angle means? How in India disasters are being managed by the government. What are problems? What need to be done? All will be dealt here. I am not going to discuss about various types of disasters, how disaster occurs. I will not discuss all those things. Can you understand the point? That will be dealt in some other classes, probably geography or some other classes. Ask the staffs. Here it's more about administrative angle of disaster management. Okay. And fifth one is accountability. Just write down the topic. I'll explain while the classes comes. And sixth one is accountability. In that we also have social audit. Accountability, social audit. The next thing is RTI, right to information. Seventh one, corruption. Eighth one, ethical governance. Is ethics classes started for you? It's finished. Okay. So regarding ethics classes, what the difference in this topic is, please understand what you studied in ethics classes is more about philosophical orientation. What is truthfulness or what is happiness, you studied there from philosophical orientation. Whereas here what we are going to say is how we are applying in government. That's called ethical governance here. It's more about the applied area. Don't get confused with the previous classes. It's more about theoretical part, previous classes. Here we're going to see how practically that's being applied. That's the topic 8, ethical governance. And we have citizen charter. And role of civil services. Role of civil services. So these are the topics what we are going to finish off in the classes, probably around 8 to 9 classes. Okay. Is that you noted down? Sorry. Is that online students copied? What pen color you want? I think black and green will go well, right? Whiteboard, so it should not be very visible, very bright. Please check your screen resolution. I think for one candidate there's an issue. Please check on your side. White color for pen. Okay. Okay. So please check your screen resolution. Okay. So right now, before going for the topic, we just briefly see about India and go for the topic. So it will be better understanding will be there. So what are the importance of governance? Okay. We'll take India. And we split India in these categories. One is historical, political, social, economic, and technology. So this is how we split India. So in that first we'll start with unique characters. Start with unique characters. Just write it down. So governance topic will be around eight questions will be there. And regarding books, I'll say in the last 5 minutes of the session, what are the books need to be studied for this. Okay. historical India, political India, social, economic and technological sphere. In that first one is unique character. My question is, when you take historical India, how we can divide history? Right now classes are over for you, correct? History classes. How the history classes are being divided? Ancient, medieval and modern, correct? My question is, what the unique character about ancient India? What point strikes your mind when you say ancient India means? Ancient India means what point strikes your mind? Something unique to India. Indian rulers, okay. Apart from rulers? Architecture, ancient times. Civilization. What civilization strikes your mind as? For example, Indus Valley civilization, correct? Can anyone say what is the relationship between Indus Valley civilization and modern day India? Any relationship? I think around 2500 years is over, correct? But what is the relationship between Indus Valley civilization and modern day India? Or can I ask you a prelims question on that? If the topic is over, Indus Valley. Okay, one we can relate with planning, correct? In Indus Valley civilization, people were settled in urban centers, correct? And what is the program right now in India for that? What program right now we have for that? Urban centers or what program is that? Smart cities. Go and check in smart cities. One important character is urban planning. 2500 years before itself in India, we have urban planning, right? Can I ask you a prelims question in Indus Valley civilization? Is that you studied? Is that studied or not? Okay. Don't lose confidence if you are not knowing it. Go and check the answers. So can anyone say what is the westernmost city? Westernmost city of Indus Valley civilization. For this, you doesn't need to read anything. If you have gone through the map in that NCERT book, you are able to identify it. Westernmost city. Northernmost city. Okay. I didn't want to create panic in you. So just go and check. Sometimes we study a lot, but UPSC will ask very simple question, correct? If you have gone through that particular map, you can easily identify it. What is the westernmost city, northernmost city, correct? What is the port city? Port city of Indus Valley civilization. Port city. Lothal, correct? Just check all those things. So Indus Valley civilization is one. And similarly, if you go for important ruler during ancient time, Ashoka, correct? Ashoka. Can anyone say what is the relationship of Ashoka to modern day India? Especially Indian democracy. Ashoka and Indian democracy. Dhamma policy is one. Apart from Dhamma policy, the most important thing is the symbol of India, correct? Indian government. What is the symbol of Indian government? Ashok Chakra, correct? What are the animals in it? Don't say lion. What are the animals in it? Everyone knows lion. Apart from lion, what are other animals there? Elephant is there. Horse is there. Then? Bull is there. Then? It's in NCERT, I'm asking. There are 4 animals, correct? 2 visible, what we see in that emblem, correct? Apart from lion, what are other 2 ones? Please go and check all these things. Okay. So Ashoka is one important ruler which we can relate with modern day India, correct? Next we go for medieval India. What is the unique character about medieval India? So medieval India means Delhi Sultanates and Mughals, correct? What is the unique character about medieval India? What strikes your mind when you say unique character about medieval India? The most important thing is we can relate with architecture, correct? Architecture. So when you say architecture means what strikes your mind? Medieval India architecture, buildings. Very simple man term, buildings, correct? What strikes your mind when you say buildings of medieval India? Charminar is one. The most important thing is Taj Mahal, correct? Taj Mahal. So what are the problems right now Taj Mahal is facing? Environmental question. Smogs are there, correct? Acid rains, correct? Art and culture question regarding Taj Mahal. What stone being built? Art, not yet started. Okay. You can't say that in June 27, correct? Not yet started. I'll go for next question, correct? So go and check what is the thing. Please understand what you go through in newspapers. Just use your common sense, correct? Sometimes UPSC will ask very basic question. We study a lot, but very basic, we leave out all those things, correct? Taj Mahal is world famous, correct? For what reason Taj Mahal is world famous? 7 wonders, okay. 7 wonders, what symbolizes? What Taj Mahal symbolizes in it? Love, correct? Okay, and how we can see that thing is whenever a foreign dignitary comes to India, president, prime ministers, you can see that one day they interact with Indian government, another day they'll take a break, and where they go for Taj Mahal with their life partners, take a picture, correct? Holding Taj Mahal, catching Taj Mahal, correct? But in India, we never appreciate it, correct? Because in India, love is a good word or bad word? Okay, in India, love is a good word or bad word, correct? It's a very bad word, correct? Depends upon the place where we are. Okay. So architecture is one. Similarly, another most important ruler of that time is Akbar. So can we say why we call him the Great? Why we call him the Akbar Great? Not expansion. Please understand, it's not because of military reasons. Military reason means who's the most Mughal emperor, not Akbar. Who's the most important Mughal emperor extending the territory of Mughals? Aurangzeb. Correct? We never call him the Great. The reason is secular policies. So in medieval times, we can identify these characters. And modern times, what are the most important aspect of modern day India? Western education, correct? One is Western education. So modern day India means whose arrival marks the birth of modern day India? Not Raja Ram Mohan Rai, correct? Europeans' arrival marks the birth of modern day India, especially Portuguese, correct? So when you take this modern day India, one is Western education. What is the other contribution of modern day India? Industrialization never happened, correct? British was the main reason for breaking Indian industries, correct? Infrastructures. For example, British was primary reason for creating infrastructures. Infrastructure means, for example, rail network, postal networks, correct? So can we ask a very basic question on this? First train route in India. We are moving towards bullet train, correct? Mumbai Thane, correct? Sometimes in UPSC prelims what they do was bullet train, new technology in India, correct? We sit and study a lot about the thing. They go for very basic when. When was the first train route started in India? Okay, which are the two places being connected? We leave out everything that and we focus a lot about modern informations. I'm just giving you a hint how to focus on your preparations. Don't get panicked if you are not knowing it. It's all factual questions. Once you go and study for one time, you are able to remember the answers. Okay. So these are some of the unique character about historical India. Next thing is political dimensions. So these are all modern day India. This is historical one. These are the modern day India, 2021. What a unique character about Indian politics? Largest democracy. That's correct. So India is called as largest democracy. My question is, why India is called as largest democracy? India is not called as strongest democracy. Which country is called as strongest democracy? Which country is called as stronger democracy in the world? It's US. Why India is called as largest democracy? Population is not the primary one. That's a secondary one. Population is a secondary one. Apart from population, there is some other most important character. What is that character? Population is there, but a secondary character. Weightage of the constitution. Even Maldives can write for 10,000 pages. Writing a constitution, not the reason. Multi-party system, no. Diversity, no. Any other factors? Why it is called as largest democracy? One is secondary factor is population. We have largest voters. And another most important reason why India is called as largest democracy is because of representatives. When you say representatives means, what are three levels of representatives? We have people representatives. Union government, we have MPs. State government, MLAs. The third most important thing is, that is local governments, where we have millions of representatives. That's the reason India is called as largest democracy. Know that. India is not called as strongest democracy. Okay. And as you said, India is also known as multi-party system. We have so many parties in India, multi-party system. Is that they dealt in polity classes, elections? It started or not it started? Not it started, okay. Please go and check what is a national party, what is a state party. Not every party can claim that as a national party and state party. That is some conditions for election commission. Then only you can be called as a national party and state party. This can be a prelims question. Please go and check it. Okay. National party means what? State party means what? The next thing is regarding Indian political system. Apart from this, what are other things we can say about Indian political system is, one is largest democracy, multi-party democracy. Another thing is we can also put parliamentary democracy. India is a parliamentary democracy, correct? What are other type of democracy? Presidential type, correct? This can be a mains question. Why in India we never went for presidential type? In 1950, India got a chance, correct? We have written the constitution. Why in India we never went for presidential type? Why we went for parliamentary democracy? Difficult to pass the law. Right now also problem is there, correct? Huh? Which is stability? Presidential type or parliamentary type?
Presidential type is more stable.
More stable, correct? Then why we didn't went for that? Any reason behind it? It's main question. Cost of election is high. Why?
Don't want to make single procedure is very complicated.
How procedure is very complicated? Not responsible to parliament. Please understand, when you say presidential type means it's a stable system. Whereas in parliamentary type, why we went for this accountability mechanism. What is accountability mechanism means? For every actions of the government, they are answerable to the parliament. Is there anything like happen in US? Anywhere you have seen that US president visiting the Senate or House of Representatives and giving a talk there? Literally no, correct? They are more focused on stability. We are more focused on accountability. That's the one reason. Second most important reason why we never went for presidential type is India is a diverse country, correct? What are the challenge in presidential type for a diverse country?
There are chances of breaking.
Not chance of breaking. What is the biggest challenge in diverse country to have a presidential type? Basic reason is no one person can represent India, correct? Because India is a diverse country. Even take parliamentary democracy. We know that Prime Minister Modi is famous across India, correct? But which are the states where we can see that he doesn't have any voice at all? Whatever he says, people never bother it. Okay, which are the states like that where Prime Minister doesn't have a voice? Kerala is one. Apart from Kerala, Tamil Nadu is one. Apart from Tamil Nadu, West Bengal is one, correct? Andhra is somewhat okay, but you can see that very visibly in Tamil Nadu, very visibly in Kerala and West Bengal. For example, Tamil Nadu, go back Modi, correct? So trending in social media. If you are Prime Minister Modi, you get irritated, correct? You think that I am famous across the world, famous across India. One state in Tamil Nadu, they are saying go back Modi, correct? Similarly, take about West Bengal. I don't know how many of you gone through the recent talk of the West Bengal Chief Minister. Who's the Chief Minister? Mamata Banerjee. In public meeting, she said that my party has overthrown communists with guns. Right now, we have some rats. I know how to throw the rats. Whom she is referring as rats here? BJP, correct? Literally, you get irritated. You are a national party. You are such a dominant one. What we can understand is, in a diverse country, we can't have a single leader. Please go and have this in mind. Why we never went for presidential type? That can be a mains question. Okay. So, parliamentary democracy, multi-party system, largest democracy, and we are also federation. Federation means sharing of powers between union government and state government. These are all what you have already studied. Just I am giving a hint of it for understanding governance. Next thing is social system. Okay, please, can you use yellow or white color ink? Okay. So when you go for social aspects, what are unique aspect about India regarding society? Caste. Okay, first one is caste-based system. Please understand, India's social hierarchy is based on caste. Can you say how US is divided? Every society is divided. India is divided based on caste, but how US is divided? Any idea? Based on racial system. What about UK? How UK is divided? Every society there is hierarchy. In India it's caste, but if you go for US it's a racial thing. When you go for UK it's based on class. From the party itself you know it, correct? What are two dominant parties in UK? Labour Party, correct? Working class and capitalist. Okay. So society wise India's major unique character is caste system, correct? Apart from this, diversity. So India is so diverse, correct? Where we can see the diversity of India? Linguistic diversity. How we can visibly see that linguistic diversity? Each day we can see that, but we are not conscious enough. Each state is one. Apart from this, take out your currency notes, correct? You can see all the different languages are there, correct? This clearly shows the diversity of India. Not only language, apart from that people's life, culture, okay. And along with this, religion. So India is also a place of religion. So what are the religions originated in India? Okay, one is Buddhism. Apart from Buddhism, what are the religions? Jainism is there. Then Sikhism. Hinduism is there, correct? Okay. Can anyone say in global level, which is the other place known for religion? Which is the other place known for religion? India is known for religion. Which is the other place in global level? Even they call it as religious capital of the world. No, Saudi. Saudi is for Islam. Israel, Jerusalem, correct? Jerusalem is considered to be the religious capital. Which are the three religions associated with Jerusalem? Three religions. One is Islam, Judaism and Christianity. All the three religions fight for Jerusalem. Please understand, fight for Jerusalem is a religious fight, not a political fight. Okay. So another interesting aspect about this religion dimension is, so can anyone say, in foreign policy, what is hard power means? In foreign policy, what is hard power? Very basics, common sense. Hard power means what? What in foreign policy? Not aggressive, using a military might, correct? Military might. Which country is a good example for this, using a military might? Russia is one. Who's the traditional player in that, using the military might and going and threatening other countries, correct? US is one, correct? Who's the other one emerging in that category is? China is emerging, correct? Where we can see that Chinese aggression? South China Sea, correct? How many of you checked the islands in South China Sea? What are the problematic islands in South China Sea? Is that you've gone through it? Okay, for example, right now China is emerging. What about India? Is India hard power? No, correct? We believe like that. India is also hard power. How we can say that India is a hard power? How India is also using its military might? Can you say how? Not strength of the military. Every country have their military, correct? But we show our military muscle. What are the occasions where we showed our military muscle, correct? Showing that the Indian army is good, don't disturb us, we'll revert back, don't come and disturb us, correct? Where we can see that, yes. Not special operation. Recent past, last 3 to 4 years, you can check it. What are the Indian military adventures? Not adventures. For example, recently we have this China, Ladakh standoff. Okay, after how many years, literally we killed a Chinese soldier. Okay, after 1962, by 2021, we killed Chinese soldiers, correct? How many soldiers died there? Any idea? 4 Chinese claim. But what the intelligence report says? They said that Russians say it's around 45, US say it's 35, India says it's 60, but China says it's only 4. Okay. So we can see the Indian military hard power, correct? Apart from this, another good example is surgical strike. With which country we have done a surgical strike? Apart from Pakistan, we also done with Myanmar, correct? Why surgical strike with Pakistan is very dangerous? If you are a prime minister, think twice going for a surgical strike with Pakistan. Can you say why? Not relationship with China. China is not a factor here. Apart from this, there is military-wise, there are some issues there. We can't go for a surgical strike with Pakistan. It's a dangerous decision. Can you say why? It's nothing but Pakistan is a nuclear weapon state, correct? Probably this can translate into a nuclear warfare, correct? And a classic example of India's hard power was not these ones. 1971. What was 1971? Liberation of Bangladesh, or what we call as creation of Bangladesh, correct? When we got our independence, 47. Within 20 years of our existence, we created a new country, correct? This clearly shows a military might. Don't assume that India is not like that. India is also a country, but we'll make sure that whenever there is some potential threat for us, we go for any extreme, correct? But we say that India is a land of non-violence, we'll never do that. But we have all the other extremes also, correct? Similarly, other point is soft power. What is soft power is? Hard power is what we discussed, the military might. What is soft power means? What is soft power means? Diplomacy is the job, correct? So what is soft power? What is soft power means? Anyone from online? through affairs, okay. Not money. Please understand what is soft power means. Use of cultural might. What is use of cultural might means? Whenever we say to foreigners, they are easily able to identify these cultures of India. What are those unique aspects? The best example is yoga, correct? So can you say who is famous because of yoga? Global level, I'm asking global level who is famous because of yoga? It's always Prime Minister Modi, correct? Baba Ramdev is within India, but global level only Prime Minister Modi, correct? And Prime Minister Modi is famous for yoga. And my question is, why every 6 months once he put a picture of him doing yoga? In press and all you can see that. In medias, electronic media or in papers, you can see him a picture doing yoga. Can you say why? Huh? Reflecting the culture. Any other interpretation? What do you think? What do you think apart from this? It's outside of UPSC preparation just for understanding purpose. Why he does that? Why he does that? Why a Prime Minister want a picture of him doing yoga? Better he can sit in office, sign a file, or have a handshake with the foreign dignitaries. That picture can be done, correct? Huh? Not what politics is what?
To show himself as a soft person.
Okay, to show himself as a soft person. Okay, every Indian believes that. Okay. So what my point is, why he want to do that? Persuading people is one, correct? So India is having a yoga as a tradition. We know that before Prime Minister itself, correct? Okay, international popularity. I'm saying that why they want to do in Indian media. Please understand that is one personal objective. What the personal objective is? To show him as the most youthful Prime Minister. What is youthful Prime Ministers? Not by age, by physical fitness, correct? I'm fit enough. Where we can see that recently is, who is the US President right now? Joe Biden. Can anyone say what the age of Joe Biden? Huh? Not 76, it's 78, correct? How many of you consciously saw him in the stage? When he comes to the stage, what he does? Whether he walks or jogs. Why he want to jog? Why he want to jog? Because people always fear that you are aged person, how you are going to run a country. To say to them, please understand, I am physically fit, correct? He jogs in the stage, correct? But no young, is there anywhere you can see that Canadian Prime Minister doing that? Who's the Canadian Prime Minister? Justin Trudeau. What's his age? 45. Very young chap, correct? He never runs on the stage. It's all a subconscious thing, correct? So India is also known as soft power. One of the important soft power for India is like yoga, Buddhism. Buddhism is the biggest soft power for India. Can you say which countries can be influenced based on Buddhism? Okay, Nepal is Hinduism, correct? Who said Nepal is Buddhism? Apart from India, Nepal, even Nepal was the only country got Hinduism as the state religion. Right now it's secular. Okay, Tibet is one, correct? Simple thing, draw a line between Sri Lanka to Japan. And the countries on the other side, you can see that influence based on Buddhism. Go and check Nalanda University. This can be a prelims question. Nalanda University right now being promoted by Buddhist countries. A lot of Buddhist countries are funding for Nalanda University. Just check that fact. So Buddhism is also one of the soft power. And please understand, India properly mix hard power and soft power. Okay. The next thing is economy. So what a unique aspect about Indian economy? When you say Indian economy, what's the unique aspect? One is mixed economy, correct? One is mixed economy, where we have both public players and private players. Then apart from this, any other thing regarding Indian economy? Fastest growing economy. Next thing is fastest growing economy. So can anyone say how it is called as fastest growing economy? How we say India is the fastest growing economy? On what scale you are saying it? Growth rate. What growth rate? Population growth rate? GDP, correct? So can anyone say what is GDP? Don't say the expansion. What does GDP means? Is that topic dealt in economics? Okay, total value of goods and services produced within the country. If you are not knowing it, don't get panicked. Okay, go and study what is GDP, that's it. Okay. So what is GDP growth of India? Any idea what is GDP growth of India? Every year what's the GDP growth is? What is the GDP growth of India? Any approximate numbers? Out of 100%, how much it grows? 4 to 5%, but on an average right from 1991. What is the importance of 1991 to India? LPG era, correct? Indian economy growed by 8 to 9%. One of the fastest growing economy, correct? And that grouping is called as BRICS. Just note it down. Go and check what are these countries are. BRICS means Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They are the fastest growing economies. Okay. Can you say which countries are called as developed economies? G20, correct. Which are the developed economies in the world? US is one, correct. So in Asia, which is the developed economy in Asia continent? China is a developing economy, not developed economy. Russia is a developing economy. Put them in BRICS, correct? Japan, correct? Japan is correct. My question is, what is the GDP growth of Japanese economy? India grows by 8%. What is Japanese economy GDP growth? 3%. Any numbers apart from this? Any other numbers? What's your assumption that Japan is a developed economy? What may be the GDP growth of it? One is 2%, 15%, within 5%. Please understand, 15% means Japanese finance minister will be very happy. Because their economy grows by 0.1% if a year is good. If it's a bad year, Japanese economy will be negative growth. So another way of saying that thing is, right now if you go and put up money in bank, what bank in Indian bank gives to you? They give you interest, correct? In Japan, if you go and put the money, you need to give the money to the bank. Can you understand the point? So people will not have money in the bank itself. And that is the reason you can see that all important projects in India is funded by whom? Why they want to fund Indian projects, not Japanese projects? Why they want to do it? Very common sense one, correct? If you invest in Japanese economy, it grows by 0.1% if that financial year is good. Most of the time it will be negative growth. What about India? Minimum is 4%. If Indian economy is good, 9 to 10%. You are getting 10 rupees out of 100 invested, whereas we go for Japan, it's only 10 paisa. Okay. So another interesting aspect about India and Japan is, can I say in India, what is the biggest problem as a civil servant? If you are a civil servant, what is the biggest problem for India? Communication is one. Assume that you are a district collector or an SP. What is the biggest problem in India if you are a civil servant? Just use your common sense. Corruption, diversification, correct? Political influences. One basic problem is population. Is that you know what? India is highly populated. Can you say which state is highly populated in India? UP. Can you say why UP is highly populated? Why UP is highly populated when compared with the rest of India? Why UP is highly populated? Anyone have an idea? Huh? Plains. Okay. Okay. Low literacy rate. Okay. Then any other reasons apart from this? Any other reasons why population is very high in UP? Mineral resource. Okay. Unemployment. எனக்கு புரியல அன்எம்ப்ளாய்மெண்ட்னா எப்படி? ஓகே அன்எம்ப்ளாய்மெண்ட்னா வேறு வேலையே இல்லைன்னு சொல்ல வர்றீங்களா? ஓகே. Poor implementation of family planning. Please understand, one of the major reasons is the economic activity of UP. What is the economic activity of UP? Agriculture. If you go and check highly populated states in India, it's entirely in Gangetic Plain. Because it's agriculture and it's more about subsistence agriculture. What does subsistence agriculture means? It's not mechanized. Human resource is the primary one. So population rise is a major requirement, correct? Please understand, in India, population is the biggest headache. And how government keeps the tagline? V2, averse 2, V2, averse 1, another after 20 years, V2, why another 1, correct? They want to control the population. But the other extreme is India's overpopulation. Another extreme is Japan, which is called as underpopulation. What does underpopulation means? There is no population in the society itself. What you see the government of India is doing, opposite is done by Japanese government. What opposite done by Japanese government is, once you go and land as a foreign service guy in Japan, Japanese government is doing the opposite of Indian government. They spend money for young people to meet each other. Can you understand the point? What do you do on weekends in malls, correct? And if they are getting married, Japanese government is very happy. If they are having the first kid, they are giving all the benefits. Second kid, third kid, they are the role model. Picture in public space. Okay. What may be the best solution for Japan? What may be the best solution for Japan? Japan doesn't have a population. What the best solution for Japan is? 10 Indians to Japan, correct? All problem will be solved. Okay. So what's my point is, what you see as one problem for one country, another country have different problems, correct? Underpopulation, overpopulation. So economy is one aspect. Then apart from this, Indian economy is led by service economy. This is another most important thing. Indian economy is propelled by service sectors. But where we have the major employment? Where we have the major employment? Where most of the Indians are employed? Not in service sector. Where we have it? Especially agriculture. Can anyone say the fact for it? Fact is not important. If you know that, well and good. Out of 100 people, how many people are as farmers? 60% check it. I think it's very high. 60 or 40 or 50 something. Just check it. Anyone gone through economic survey? Not yet. No time, correct? You are very busy. Okay, probably they'll have a class for it. Next thing is technology. So can you say where India has mastered the technology? There are a few areas India is a global trendsetter in technology. One is rocket science, that's nothing but, don't put ICT. Please understand, in computer science we are not global trendsetter. What we know in computers is only cut, copy, paste. Even if you go for any company, they are doing only this one, correct? So one is space. India is a trendsetter in space, correct? So how we can say that India is a trendsetter is? One is Mars exploration, Chandrayaan exploration, correct? And we are also have this commercial space exploration, correct? All countries are putting the satellites in Indian launch vehicles, correct? So just go and check that. Space is one. Next thing is defense. So India also a trendsetter in defense sectors, correct? Can you give examples where India is a trendsetter in defense sectors? Global level, I'm asking, not India level. Global level, we are trendsetter. Few areas. One is BrahMos, Agni, correct? You know INS Arihant. What is INS Arihant? Any idea? Okay, not navigation satellite. INS Arihant is a nuclear submarine, correct? Similarly, we are also building our aircraft carrier. So only few countries have done it. So India is one such thing. And defense is one. And next thing is pharmaceutical. So we are also global player in pharmaceutical, correct? And what is the recent example for that? We are a global player in pharmaceutical. What our Prime Minister claimed? Covaxin, correct? Our Prime Minister said that 50 countries are standing in queue for Indian vaccines, correct? So is that India, is it made in India or technology is given someone, or we are mass producing? What is the status of India? In that aspect, how about vaccine and all? Okay, we are mass production, correct? So India has that capacity. Pharmaceutical is one such area. So these are some of the unique characters. Any doubt in this? Any clarification? Any word you are not able to understand in this? Shall we go for the next slide? So next slide is the same table or column. You will start with problems. You have problems, correct? Same historical, political, we'll see it. So can you say, what a historical problem in India? What is historical problem means? As an India, geographical entity, we are existing for thousands of years. But a democracy is a new concept for 70 years. What a problem in this? Any problem in this? For thousands of years, we are existing as a country or a land, as a population. Democracy is a new concept for 70 years. Is there any clash in these two aspects? Few colonial aspect is there. Then anything apart from this, just use your common sense. Can you identify anything? Or take it from your personal level. Social hierarchy, colonial rule, border issues are there, correct? Or we can give a good example of feudal mindset, invasion. Take it from personal level, correct? This term generation gap. With whom we use this term generation gap? In our life, with whom we use this term generation gap? Father, not only father, who is the primary person, so you can see the generation gap. As an individual you are. So you are very young, correct? So your values are very different. And in your family, whose values never matches with you? You think in different way, they think in different way in your family. I'm asking in your family setup. Especially grandparents, correct? In what situations you can feel that? There's a generation gap. You literally think that, okay, it's a generation gap, we can't do it. What are the situations like that in your personal lives? Socializing. For example, technology, correct? Use of mobile phones. Is there any timing in use of mobile phones in our Indian families? No. Especially with your grandparents. Night, 11 o'clock, you get a call. And your grandparents sitting beside you. What happens to you? Once you finish off the call, what are other questions you are going to get us? What are the questions you are going to get? Who is this? Next question is, why at this time? But a third one is, it's not good for the family. They assume everything, correct? It's not good for the family. I don't know where you go. I'll speak to your father, what he's doing, correct? And literally you can't go and explain to them, please understand, only for book they are calling me, correct? Similarly, another good example of generation gap, watching TV. Is that you can watch TV in your family with your parents, especially grandparents sitting beside you. What are channels off limit? There are certain channels you can't watch. Once you are there, you literally know that, okay, you can skip that channel. What are the channels like that? Huh? Music channels? Okay, which music channel? That's the most important thing, correct? Bhatti part and ukkand correct? So what are channels you cannot watch with your grandparents? There are certain, fashion TV is one, correct? Sun TV, what are the problem in Sun TV, correct? For example, if we take Hollywood movies, correct? Okay. So if you go for Hollywood movies, can you sit and watch with them? Literally no, correct? For example, you're watching an action movie, you are individually, you're sitting and watching, clapping your hands. Suddenly your grandparent come and sit besides you. The scene changes there, correct? Ultimately, what will be the reaction of them is, correct? So what this point of this generation gap is, or take example, that's one of the biggest problem in India. Take the concept of marriage. Can you say in Indian system, who is the deciding authority in marriage? Assume yourself or your brothers and sisters. Who is the deciding authority in marriage? Any Indian conservative families. Please understand, not only parents. Apart from parents, if you have an elder sibling, they are the deciding factors. Then their parents, brothers, sisters, they are deciding factor, correct? Ultimately, what they'll do to you is, they'll give you the information. We find the right partner, everything we checked, it's perfect, okay. And we can put some photos I sent you in WhatsApp, check it, okay, we are fixing this date, you come on this date. They will not ask anything whether you like it or not like it, it's not their problem, correct? My question is, can you go and say to your parents, I'm going to marry this person? Is it possible in India? I'm asking about love marriages. Is it possible in India? What will happen to you if you go and say to a parent that I'm going to marry this person? What will happen to you? Get out is good, correct? What will be the father's reaction for that? What will be the father's reaction is? Not only not my son, father's reaction will be like WWF, correct? Instant justice. What will be the mother's reaction is? What will be the mother's reaction is? Mother's reaction is like a slow poison, correct? Whenever she sees you, she cries at you, correct? She'll be watching some serials. Once you enter, she'll cry. Why you are doing like this, correct? Her problem is not about your life. What's her problem is? She never thinks about your life and all. What's her problem is? How I can go for other marriages. What they think about me, correct? So what is the biggest problem out of this is, I don't know how many of you have noticed this term, correct? Honor killings, correct? Right now in India is one of the biggest prevalent problem. What this honor killing is, in the concept of marriage, if someone is moving out of the family and marrying someone outside of their family wishes, they are being killed. Who are the persons involved in this crime? Who are the persons involved in this crime? Please understand, all the close relatives, even blood relations, correct? Either it can be father, brother, brother-in-law, correct? Uncles, they are involved in this crime. As community, mostly it will be very known persons, correct? Where we can recently see this happening? Which are the states we can see this very frequently happening? Okay, please, all over India we can see it. Don't discriminate on it. Okay, all over India we can see that. Recently there is an issue in Rajasthan, I don't know, in today's newspaper. I don't know how many of you checked it. In Rajasthan there is a honor killing. Honor killing is the biggest problem. Whose honor is being protected here? Whose honor is being protected here? One is caste, family, religion's honor is being protected. Can you say which fundamental rights being violated here? Which fundamental right is violated for that particular couples? They made the decision based on that fundamental right. What that fundamental right is? Anyone able to identify it? That is Article 21, right to life and liberty, which includes to choose their life partner. But in India, you can't do it, correct? Because it's a family decision and you can't take any decisions at all. Even you can see in movies at all, correct? Compare Hollywood movie and Indian movie. The scene of marriage. What you can see the huge difference there? In Hollywood movies, the hero, heroine, if they are going to get married, they need to call up the parent and say that I'm going to get married. Please come if possible. What about Indian movies? What about Indian movies? Where parents call and say that please come to the marriage, correct? And there'll be a huge family gathering, and if you watch Telugu movie and all, you can see that, correct? It's a very good family affairs. So honor killing is one of the biggest historical problem. And apart from this, we have child marriages. Child marriage is another biggest problem in our society, correct? When you say child marriages, so they are in love and they pay for the marriage. Okay. So child marriages, if you take this child marriages, can you say which child is highly impacted because of this marriage? Male child or girl child? Girl child. What is the biggest problem for a girl child in this marriages?
Early widow.
Early?
Possibilities of early widow.
Early widow, that's extreme. Why you are thinking about early widows and all, correct? It will not happen. My question is, what is the biggest problem for a child getting married so early? One is they are not physically and emotionally mature to run a family. And what is the biggest impact is we have this IMR and MMR. What is IMR and MMR? Infant mortality and maternal mortality rate. How many of you check the current affairs? Government is going to increase the age. Is that you know what? Marriage age, government is trying to increase it, correct? What will be the age for the girls is? 21. What is the reason for that thing is? This IMR and MMR. Okay. So child marriage is another historical problem, correct? Similarly, we can put border tensions and all those things. Right now, the border tensions between India, Pakistan, India, China, you can put all those things. Next thing is political level. So what are problems in Indian political system? Right now, what are the problems we are facing in Indian political system? Very common problems. Any common problems in Indian political system is? Defection is one. Apart from this, what are other problems in Indian politics? Corruption. One biggest problem is corruption. One biggest problem is corruption. Corruption is the biggest problem in Indian politics. Then apart from this, any other thing apart from this? Religion in politics. Okay, what we call it as communal politics. We have communal politics. And what a recent example of this communal politics? Any recent example of communal politics? Love jihad is one. Apart from love jihad, what maybe the other thing is? CAA, we can't say it, but if you take example Ram Temple. Ram Temple is satisfy the majority, correct? Communal politics. And apart from this, I don't know how many of you came across this term, but we know it. Dynasty politics. What does dynasty politics means? Term itself understand. What is dynasty politics is? That is family members entering into political system, correct? Which are the parties good example for this dynasty politics? Okay, every state is examples are there, right? From Tamil Nadu, DMK and UP we have, Bihar we have and West Bengal we have. National level, which party is a good example at national level is? Congress, correct? Can you say in Congress when the dynasty politics started? Nehru was based on merit. Please understand, Nehru was based on merit. That's not based on dynasty politics. So, after Nehru, Indira Gandhi. After Indira Gandhi, who came into picture is? Rajiv. After Rajiv, not Rahul. Sonia, correct? After Sonia, Rahul. After Rahul, who may be the probable one is? Priyanka. After Priyanka, anyone have an idea? Son and daughter of Priyanka, correct? Okay. Someone please mute your mic. Any doubts? So you can see that dynasty politics is one of the biggest problem in Indian system, correct? So these are the political issues. Social aspects, what are the problem is untouchability based on caste system. So what profession can be a good example of untouchability? There is one profession can be a good example of untouchability. What is that profession is? Is that you came across this term called manual scavenging? Manual scavenging is a good example of untouchability, correct? So that can be the one. And apart from this, again, communal tensions because of religions and all, communal tensions. And along with this, India is a male-dominated system. Can you accept this? India is a male-dominated system. Where we can say that India is a male-dominated system. By giving some facts, yes, we can see that India is a male-dominated system. Population of the parliament. One good example is parliament. Parliament is a good example of male-dominated system. And similarly, if we take this public services, army, we can see that male-dominated system. Right? Huh? Property. Always in Indian society, culturally, property will be in the name of women. Correct? It's a male-dominated system. And similarly, when you take economy, for example, in banking system, we have NPA crisis, non-performing assets. One of the biggest problem in Indian banking system, correct? So what is the budget term related to this? Anyone gone through that? In budget, there's a term related to NPA, bad banks, correct? Please go and check what this bad bank means. That can be a prelims question. Okay. So next thing is inflation. So inflation is another biggest problem of Indian economy, correct? So what is inflation? If you want to put in layman terms, what does inflation means? Rise in prices, right? Rise in prices. Is that inflation shooting up in India right now? Yes or no? Yes, very basic common sense, correct? We have petrol and diesel prices increasing. How that is related to inflation? If petrol and diesel prices increases, inflation also increases. Can you say how the relationship is existing here? It's nothing but basic one, transportation. All the food commodities transportation is linked with crude oil and automatically inflation rises, right? Inflation is one. And apart from this, jobless growth, though Indian economy grows, but it's not creating jobs because Indian economy is led by service sector where microscopic population is involved, right? And apart from this, deficit. For example, we have fiscal deficit. Is this term taught in economics classes, fiscal deficit? Yeah, okay. Similarly, go for technology. So what a problem in technological arena? Why India is not technological superpower in other areas? Only few areas we are global leaders. What about the other areas? Why we are not technological superpower? Investments. First and foremost thing is lack of funds. We don't have funds for R&D activities. That is one. And next thing is education system. That is another biggest problem. Education system. So when you say education system, can you say who designed our education system? Who designed our education system? Britishers, correct? What is the intention of British education? What are the basic intention of British education? Why they want to create English-based education system in India? Please understand the primary objective is to produce clerks. My question is that we have a clerical mindset? Yes or no? Please understand, in India we have clerical mindset if you studied in schools. Except CBSE or some other medium, most of the state boards and metric, we have this clerical mindset. How we can see that thing is, once the class is over, what the staff will do is, for example, a science topic is over, what the next thing the staff will do is, go for the last page, read a question, and what the next thing the staff will do is, go for page number 3. Paragraph 1, put a box. Paragraph 2, put a box. What you want to do is, you want to by heart it and write as an answer. My question is, you understood the answer, but you written in your own words. What will be the mark given to you? What will be the mark given to you if you have written in your own words the same answer? Please understand, it will be 0. If you go and ask the staff, what will be the staff reply for that thing is? Not as per book. So what you want to do is, you should not think, by God the thing, do it the things, correct? And another question is, can you ask any questions in your classrooms? For example, there's a topic going in history. First doubt you ask, second doubt, third doubt, fourth doubt. What the next thing the staff will do is, not get out, come to staff room. Like Shivaji movie, correct? Come to office. And you know that what will happen to you. So ultimately what you should not do is, you should not ask any questions. What in our mindset is, we should not ask any question, we should not think. Britishers gave a clerical mindset to us, correct? That is the reason why we are not innovative. Apart from this, lack of ecosystem. Lack of ecosystem. What does ecosystem means? How many of you watch the movie Social Networking? It's a movie on Facebook. Anyone watch that movie, Social Networking? It's based on Mark Zuckerberg. Can anyone have an idea how Mark Zuckerberg came out with Facebook? Please understand, he never opened an office and thought that next 1 year I'm going to create a Facebook. While he was a PhD candidate in university, he developed an algorithm. What was the primary objective of algorithm is to crack the website or to crack the database of university, took the pictures of the girls and asked the friends to compare who's good looking. In one night, the server got crashed. Why it got crashed is everyone was playing, the game was very interesting. My question is, if you have done this in India, what will happen to you? You have developed an algorithm. From the college website, you have took the picture of 2 girls and asked the friends to compare. And the server got crashed in a single day. What will happen to you? What will happen to you in India? First thing is, you are thrown out of the college. A case will be registered against you. In police station, what happens? That's the most interesting thing. In police stations, What the inspector says, Thambi is the expert. Huh? He's a very expert in computer. Take all unsolved cases, put on his name, correct? Ultimately, what will happen to your life is, your life is gone, correct? But what they have done is, they saw the potential of his idea and asked him to develop some commercial versions. And even some of the professors invested in that ideas. That's called ecosystem. So in India, we don't have all these ecosystems. So these are some of the problems, correct? Any clarification on this? Any doubts in this? Shall we go for the next one? The final one. Solutions. So what can be done for this? For example, if you take historical problem, what may be the solution? If you want to stop honor killing, what may be the solution for honor killing? People are killed just for taking their own decisions. What need to be done for that? Huh? What? Legislature, one is law enforcement. Go for effective law enforcement. And as you said, you can go for education. Education is a long-term solution. It takes another 15-20 years to people to change their mindset, especially young children, correct? And similarly, create helpline. So can anyone say if a child is getting married, who is the first person to know it? Apart from the child, family members, who may be the outsider, the first person to know that the child is getting married. Any idea? Huh? Now my question is, for example, a girl child studying in 8th standard or 9th standard is going to get married. Who will be the first person to know that that girl is going to get married? Neighbor is one. Apart from neighbor, especially school friends, correct? And if you create proper awareness and create a helpline, they can reach you, correct? If you are a district collector. And similarly, if you go for political side, start with electoral reforms. Start with electoral reforms, correct? So can you say which are the states going for elections in India right now? Tamil Nadu is one. Apart from Tamil Nadu, which are the other states going for elections? Kerala is one. Assam is one, correct? West Bengal is one, correct? Pondicherry, correct? For election commission, which state is the most toughest one? West Bengal, correct? In what sense West Bengal is toughest one for election commission? Right now, if you are working in election commission, how West Bengal is tough for you? Okay, West Bengal is biggest law and order problem. That is the reason we have 8 phases in West Bengal, correct? For Tamil Nadu, if you are in election commission, what is the problem for you? Right now, West Bengal has a unique problem of law and order. In Tamil Nadu, what the problem is? Tamil Nadu, what the problem is? Money distribution, correct? And please understand, Tamil Nadu politicians are the most innovative ones in that. Whatever election commission thinks, they know how to bypass election commission, correct? Is that you know election commission has appointed special expenditure observers for Tamil Nadu. All the best brains of India is right now in Tamil Nadu, especially in finance aspect. I can assure that even you can appoint the best brains of India, still you can see that politicians know how to bypass them, correct? And a lot of trendsetters are there in Tamil Nadu. Even election commission says Thirumangalam effect. Is that you know Thirumangalam effect? That is money distribution elections. There is a term called Thirumangalam effect. So in India level, Tamil Nadu is always a trendsetter in money supply. Okay. So electoral reforms. Next thing is constitutional amendments. We see that later. Constitutional amendments. I'm just giving a hint, that's it. And inner party democracy. Especially for dynasty politics, we need to have inner party democracy. Similarly, social wise, what we need to do is go for Article 17. So Article 17, what is the importance of Article 17 in our constitution is? Article 17, can you recollect Article 17? Abolition of untouchability, correct? So we need to enforce Article 17. And apart from this, communal harmony. So they need to focus on communal harmony. These are the solutions. And if you go for male-dominated system, we have Ministry of Women and Child Development focusing on women, correct? Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. A lot of schemes are there in India, correct? So that's regarding Ministry of Women and Child Development. And for economy, what need to be done is like bad banks. I'm just listing out very fast. Bad banks, especially related to NPA. And for inflation, we have this monetary policy. Can you say who's responsible for monetary policy in India? Which institution is responsible for monetary policy, correct? RBI. Please go and check. That can be a prelims question. Repo rate, reverse repo rate. Is that taught in economics classes? Okay, just go through it. If you're not, just go through it. Next thing is fiscal deficit. What government is doing is going for DCBT. What is DCBT is? Direct cash benefit transfer. It minimizes corruption and wastages. Fiscal deficit means when your expenditure is more compared to revenue. DCBT is able to reduce your expenditure because leakages are being stopped. And how many of you gone through this idea in this budget? Asset monetization. Anyone gone through that in term asset monetization? What does asset monetization means? Government of India is saying that certain departments in Indian government have land banks. They can sell that land banks to make money. Can you say which are the departments have the largest land banks in India? Railways is one, defense is one, correct? Asset monetization, that's again related to fiscal deficit. Similarly, for technology, what we are doing is, for example, BharatNet is there, optic fiber connectivity, correct? PM Vani, Aspire program. So these are a few examples for technological arena. My basic question is, for all these things, for all the problems in India, we have solutions. Why we are not able to reach the targets? What are problems in reaching the targets? For any problem in India, we have solution. Government gives solutions, correct? These are the things need to be done. But why we are not able to reach there? What are the problem in that? Huh? What are the problem in execution? That's my question. What are the problem in executions? Diversity is one. Corruption is a problem. Any other problems apart from this? As a common man, what do you see? For every problem in India, there is a solution from the government, but why we are not reaching there? Why we are not able to reach the solutions? One is diversity, corruption. Transfers. What transfers? Fund transfers. Huh? Postings, okay. For administrative wise, not the right persons are there. Correct. Then apart from this, lack of coordination among different units like union government, state government, there is no proper coordination is there. Then apart from this, lack of awareness among people, correct? Not only lack of awareness, even people is not cooperating, correct? Can you give examples in India where as a common man we never cooperate with the government? Any good examples? So the classic example is road safety, correct? So what about India and road safety? Is that we are properly following the rules? Literally no, correct? So what are good examples where as a common man we never follow the rules? For example, wearing a helmet, correct? We never wear a helmet. If you ask a guy why you are not wearing a helmet, if for an inspector ask why you are not wearing a helmet, what will be the reason given by the guy is why you are not wearing a helmet before putting a fine, correct? Hair fall, correct? If a girl is being asked, what will be the reason given by the girl is? Any idea? Sir, makeup, sir, correct? So the ultimate reason is for our safety, but we will never follow it, correct? Take example of red light. Is that we follow the proper red light in traffic signals? Never, correct? And what we always check is whenever there's a red line, what the next thing we'll check is there any traffic constables there? Or the next thing we do is, we jump the signal. After UPSC preparation, you have more energy right now, correct? If a friend is driving, what you say to the friend is, you drive, I'll see. I know article 19, 20, 21, I'll speak to him, correct? Okay, after UPSC preparation, you got the extra boost to do all these things, correct? All this, if you boil down, there is one term called governance. In India, one of the biggest problems is governance factors. That is the reason we are not able to reach the goals, correct? Just quickly go through the things. Any clarification in this? Any clarification in online, please? Is there a break between the classes? Okay. Okay, you can take a break for 5 minutes. After that, we can start the session. DCBT full form is direct cash benefit transfer. Direct cash benefit transfer. So PM Vani is regarding this Wi-Fi networks. Aspire is a program to promote scientific education among children. So some other example for ecosystem is better thing is right now if you take Indian system, if you go for colleges and all, if you want to innovate anything, mostly you can see that they will not encourage you. why you are doing outside of the syllabus, why you are wasting your time, and I can't give the marks for your projects. They all do this stuff. Ultimately, you get irritated and you never do any innovative ideas. That is called lack of ecosystem. Okay. Sharp 5 minutes break. Yeah. ASPE program. The term ASPE program. ASPE program is to develop a scientific knowledge among school and college children. That's the primary focus of ASPE. So what is BharatNet is, I thought I'll just give a point in e-governance. I'll just give a brief outline. What is BharatNet is, right now we can see that in India, villages are connected by optic fiber network, correct? All villages in India is connected by optic fiber network. That's called BharatNet or National Optic Fiber Network. That comes under BharatNet. Okay. Okay, my introduction I'll give it in the last class. Okay, based on the time availability. I didn't say my name, correct? Okay, my name is Arun. What are the topics finished off for you in GS? Topic started, history. Thanks. Bilateral. Okay, how many of you working? Any working candidates? IT or? Huh? IT. Any government employees? No. How many of you still going for colleges? Engineering, eh? Arts. Okay. So this class overlap with the public administration options. One of the candidates an optional guy. So it's overlap with that optional syllabus. This is enough. Okay. So right now we go for a topic. We'll start with the definition of governance and we go for the other aspects. Right on the definition. So this is the definition regarding governance. One is given by World Bank, another is Kaufman. Okay, once you finish, put yes. Online candidates, if you put yes, I can give the explanation part. Okay, thank you. Okay, just few seconds. People are writing here. So in this first definition of governance given by Kaufman, there are three important terms. One is authority, tradition, and institutions. So these three play a major role. Okay. First we'll start with authority. So can anyone say what is authority means? Or another way of asking this is, assume that you are an IPS officer. What's the first posting as an IPS officer? Any idea? What's the first posting as an IPS officer? Once you get into services, what the first posting is? Huh? ASP, correct? My question is, what is the difference between you and Rowdy? Both are doing the same work. Is that you know what? You kill people, they kill people, correct? You use gun, they use some weapons. The job is similar. But why people respects you? Why people hate rowdies? What is the difference between you and Rowdy? But if you go and check the job profile, same thing. You do the same work only, correct? Good example is Satangulam, correct? In Tamil Nadu, custodial death, correct? So what is the difference between you and Rowdy? Save the people, okay then? Power, or why people respects you? Why people respects you as an IPS officer? Okay, because you wear a uniform. Apart from this, authority, correct? What is authority means? That's nothing but legal power. Authority means legal power. You are backed by the law. Whatever actions you are doing, there is a law to support it. So authority means legal power. Keep that in mind. Apart from this, there is another dimension of power. What we call it as acceptance. What does acceptance means? In a society, there are peoples who never want to write an examination, who never want to stand in elections, but people accept them as a leader. Can you give some examples for that? Sorry if I'm not watching the camera because subconsciously I am relating with offline batches. Okay. So can anyone say, can you give examples of authority or a leader based on acceptance? Can you give any examples? They never stand in elections. They never write an examination to become a district collector or SP, but people follow them. Can you give examples of anyone like that? Freedom fighters, political leaders, any in a current level, can you give any examples in current level? Anyone, not related to politics. Mahatma Gandhi, a great example is Anna Hazare. You know Anna Hazare? Anna Hazare is a good example, correct? So keep in mind when you say authority means there are two dimensions. One is legal power, another is acceptance. How this is important is once you go into services, never ever assume that you are the authority. Apart from that, there are a lot of other people having influences. Take an example, if you are in northeastern states, who are the people who have a great influence on the common man apart from district collector or SP? Naxal is not part of northeastern states. Please understand. Who is the major acceptance based leader in northeastern states? Use your common sense. That's it. It's nothing but tribal leaders. They have a huge influences. Correct? Can anyone say what is the name of Nahas? Naha, which state they belong? Nahas. Nagaland. Apart from Nagaland, they spread across other states also. Can you say what the other name of Nagas? Other name of Nagas, headhunters. Can you understand? If you want to be a Naga warrior, primary requirement is you need to kill the enemy and get the head put as a trophy in front of your home. If it's a tribal leader means, you know how many heads will be there, correct? Go and show your authority there. You know what's my rank in UPSC? All India rank 2, IPS, my first option. If you show the authority, after tribal instinct kicks in, what happens? Your head will be the next one, correct? So what the reality is when you say authority means one is legal power and acceptance. Keep that in mind. Okay. Next thing is institutions. So when you say institutions, we split into 3 levels for basic understanding. One is political, social, and economic. This is what a common man perspective of institution, correct? Political, social, economic. Again, this can be split into structure, process, behavior. Structure, process, and behavior. Institution means, please understand, this you need to be clearly understanding. Take an example of political institution and its structures. Assume that you are starting a political party. You want to become prime minister. Ultimately, where you want to reach? If you want to become a prime minister, which institution you want to reach? If you want to become a prime minister, that institution you want to reach, then only you can be a prime minister. It's nothing but parliament. Parliament is here, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Why I'm saying is, when you say institution means, most of the time we relate only with structures. We call it as Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Apart from that, institution is also related with process. What this process means? What the importance of parliament in our Indian system? What parliament is doing in our Indian democracy? One is lawmaking. What the importance of this month, February and March in India regarding parliament? February, March in India regarding parliament is budget, correct? So they are responsible for budget. So when you say institution means, process is also involved. And finally, behavior. What is behavior means? How you respond, correct? My question is our MPs behaving properly? Is our MPs behaving properly? What's your viewpoint on it? Is that MPs are doing their primary role lawmaking, or what they are doing there? What MPs are doing? What are the least crime MPs are doing? What are the least crime of our MPs? Yeah? Not misusing power. My basic question is, as an MP, what are the least crime they are doing? Is that they are attending the sessions, first one? No. Who is a good example for that, not attending the session? You know Sachin? Rajya Sabha MP. Never attend the session, correct? And Modi, okay, leave out Modi, anti-Indian you will be then. Okay. So, we have certain MPs not attending the sessions, correct? Apart from that, sleeping, sleeping is the biggest problem. Who is a good example of that? Sleeping in parliament or legislative assemblies. Rahul Gandhi? Not this terms. I think in second UPA term, Rahul Gandhi was sleeping in the parliament. That time economy was very bad shape. Inflation is rising up. Manmohan Singh was giving an answer for the question on inflation. He was sleeping behind him. BJP took the picture and put in social media saying that this is the response of the government for inflation. Rahul Gandhi is sleeping there. They are literally saying that government is sleeping. But what is the response of a Congress is, please understand, he is not sleeping, he is in deep thinking. Okay. From that least crime, what the extreme crimes are MPs and MLAs are doing? Extreme crimes. What are the extreme crimes, correct? Misusing of authority. The extreme crimes, lot of examples are there, correct? Not only from MP level, MLA level, correct? Land acquisition. What recently happened in Karnataka? Karnataka recently, a minister. Okay, that was a sex scandal, correct? And is that, in Karnataka, once there was an MLA sitting in a session and watching a porn video. When assembly sessions were happening, 3 MLAs were sitting on the last bench and seeing a porn video. But the worst thing is, they doesn't know CCTV camera was behind them. And they're watching, making fun. That was taken out and put in prime time, correct? Similarly, extreme crimes, pepper spray incident in Rajya Sabha. When Telangana was created, one MP never liked it. He took the pepper spray and sprayed in everyone's eyes. And everyone was taken to hospital, checked, and they said that you are good enough, go and continue the session, correct? All these extremes happens. Please understand, not only in India, all other countries also happens. So behavior is another problem. Another biggest example of understanding behavior is, in India, most of the problem are behavioral problem, whether you accept it. Take example, corruption. Is corruption behavioral problem or not? My basic question, when you want to get a driving license, what are the first thing strikes your mind? When you want to get a driving license, is that we think about the rules and regulation, or what the first thing we always think about driving licenses? Finding a right middleman, correct? Finding a right agent. In our Indian psyche, when we say government means it's all about money. Corruption is a behavioral problem. Swachh Bharat. Please understand, Indians are always clean persons within their home. They keep their home very clean. When they go for public places, what happens to Indians? Assume ourselves, take a cup of tea. What the next thing we do is, we never put in a dustbin, correct? What the next thing we do is, we throw on the road, and what we say is, government will take care. So in India, most of the problems are behavioral problem. So keep that in mind. When you say institution means structure, process and behavior. The next thing is traditions. Traditions are nothing but value systems. Traditions are nothing but value systems. To understand what this value system means, right now in India, what is the political value of India? Democracy or communism? Which we always support, democracy or communism? Please understand, India is a democracy. When you say China, what is the political value of China? Communism. So what is governance here is how you use your value system, traditions and institutions where the authority is exercised. Ultimately, all this related to decision making, and that primary focus of decision making is welfare. The primary objective of governance is to create public welfare. For that, how you use your tradition, institutions and authority. Okay, so that's called governance. This is all related to the same definition in different words, that's it. Next thing is features of governance, right? Features of governance. Right on the first point, I'll explain it and we go for the next one. What is government and beyond means? For our development right now, we have government. Beyond government, a lot of other players are there. For understanding that, take example of telecom sector. Can you see who are the major players in telecom sector in India? Major players in telecom sector. One is Jio. Apart from Jio, Airtel is there. And Vodafone is there. We have BSNL. Take banking sector. Can you see what are government banks in India? Government banks in India. Banks run by Government of India. As SBI is one. Punjab National Bank, Indian Bank. Can I say Indian private banks? Indian private banks in India. Okay, Standard Chartered is not an Indian private bank. HDFC, correct? HDFC is one, correct? Axis one, correct? ICICI is one, okay. Similarly, when you go for foreign banks in India, what are foreign banks in India? Standard Chartered is there, correct? HSBC is there. These are a few examples. What is government and beyond means? For our socio-economic development, we depend upon government. Beyond includes what we call it as market. Market means business. In this, we have domestic player and foreign player. We can take banking systems, correct? Axis Bank is a domestic player and HSBC is a foreign player. So for development, we have government. Here government is nothing but SBI. Beyond includes market. Apart from market, we have civil society organizations. We have civil society organizations or what we call it as NGOs. Non-governmental organization. We'll see that later, what this NGOs means. Civil society organizations or NGOs. So for our today's development process, we have government. Along with government, we have market. In common man terms, we call it as business and civil society organizations. That is called government and beyond. The next one is power dependence between institutions. Second one, power dependence between institutions. Power dependence between institutions. My question is, why in our development we need to have government? Why we need to have a prime minister? Why you need to be a district collector for development? Why development cannot be led by Adani and Ambani? What a problem in that? Okay, they are profit oriented. So what is the primary focus of government is? What the primary focus of government is? So okay, primary focus of government is public welfare. Government never focus on profit, they always focus on public welfare, correct? Even if it is a loss, they are ready to accept the loss. And apart from this, why government is, my question is, when you take FDI investments, India, Afghanistan, where it happens? FDI investment, foreign direct investments, where it happens a lot, India or Afghanistan? In Afghanistan, FDI happens a lot. India, correct? Why in Afghanistan, FDI investment never goes there? Please understand the primary reason is stability of government. Even if you take India, FDI investment in Maharashtra and Nagaland, where it happens a lot. Maharashtra. Why they are not going to Nagaland is there is no stable government. The primary objective of the government is to establish rule of law. So for primary role of government is to establish rule of law or what we call as political stability. And you can see that which are the states they have rule of law, proper development will be there. And similarly, another role of government is basic infrastructure. Government is responsible for basic infrastructure. No private player will invest the money for it. A good example is, this dedicated freight corridor. Is that you read in newspapers, dedicated freight corridor, especially for train lines, for promoting export, import, correct? That will be done only by the government. No Reliance or no Adani will invest the money. So basic infrastructure will be taken care by the government. Next thing is why market. If I am fast, let me know what. So lack of space, I am writing like this. So if you go for why market, okay, my question is, how many of you using BSNL mobile phones? BSNL mobile phones. 1, 2, correct? Most of us use Airtel or Jio. Can you say why? Why we never like BSNL when compared with Airtel or Jio? What are positive in Airtel or Jio, using Airtel or Jio? Okay, better services. Okay, one is better services. Okay, then apart from better services, or why right now we love Jio? Why? Free is one, apart from me, what the other thing is? Cost is there, okay. Better services. Next thing is competition. So there is always a competition among them that results in better services, and also they are focused on new technology. So they are ready to give new technology to the people, correct? Then along with this, why market? Customer centric. What is customer centric means? You know that in mobile phones there is a concept called number portability. What is number portability means? With the same number you can switch the services, correct? Assume that you are initiating number portability in Airtel. What Airtel will do? It takes 24 hours, correct? What Airtel will do next thing is, today if you start the process, I'm moving to Jio. What the next thing Airtel will do is, they call up, correct? And they say that you are a golden customer or you are moving out, correct? We give you all the offers and please stay with us, correct? Ultimately, what the primary objective of Airtel is, they doesn't want to lose a customer. My question is, if you are in BSNL, you're going for a number portability, what BSNL will do? If they call up and say that you're a golden customer, they'll be very happy. Please move. You are asking too many questions, correct? You are saying Airtel is doing that, Jio is doing that. Okay, please move out, correct? Can you say, that is one good example. There are multiple reasons for the failure of that particular company. One reason is also this customer centric. Can you say which PSU is a good example for it? Right now in India, there is one PSU not profitable. There are multiple reasons why they are not making profit. But one of the reasons is also they never focus on customers. Can you give any examples? Which PSU is a good example for it? Not BSNL. Is that, Air India? In that space, there is one private player who is making a lot of money. Which private player is that? Indigo. Indigo is making money, but Air India is not making money. The reason is, one of the reasons is customer centric. If you are booking a flight in Indigo, if there is a change in timing of the flight, what the next thing Indigo will do is? Any idea? They put a mail, they call you and say that flight is being delayed. Based on that, you make your preparations, correct? What happens in Air India? No one bothers. You go out to the airport, then only you know that flight is being delayed. And that delay will not be for 10 minutes. It will be 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. If you go and ask the person, they say, we don't know. That will be the reply. You literally get irritated. This is not only for a common man. Who is the Vice President of India right now? Venkaiah Naidu, correct? Before becoming the Vice President, he was the minister in the government. What's his native place? Andhra Pradesh, Hyderabad. Once he booked a ticket from Delhi to Hyderabad in Air India, he came to airport. Air India never took a flight. He asked why you never took a flight. For that, Air India gave a reply, our pilot get caught in traffic. That's a reply given to a minister. Think about a common man. Literally no, correct? customer focus will not be there in any government departments. That's the biggest problem, correct? But if you go for, take another example is opening a bank account. HDFC, Indian Bank, that will be very easy. HDFC, correct? If you call up and they say that I want to open a bank account, what HDFC will say is, sir, this is Corona time, sir, don't need to come, sir. We'll see, put a link in WhatsApp, and there's an app, you just download it, take a picture, we'll do all the process, put the money, correct? What about Indian Bank? Indian Bank, what they say is, it's Corona time, open later, correct? You don't come there, we are getting feared, correct? Literally you can see in government banks and all, they will not allow you. You have your money and you want to process your money, but they will not allow you, correct? They think you like a criminal. Why you are coming here? Go and access ATM. And you will be so amazed that is it my money or your money, correct? So customer centric will not be there in governments, but market will be more focused on customer centric. The next thing is why civil society. Why civil society? First one is grassroots presence. My question is, who can start an NGO? Anyone have an idea? Who can start an NGO? Is that you need to write an examination, any qualification is required? Who can start an NGO? Non-governmental organization. Who can start it? Anyone can start it. It's always started by the people. So grassroots presence means NGO reaches to the last mile. What does last mile means? Take a tribal village where they have only 10 families in a tribal village. You can see that NGO reaching there. That's called grassroots presence. The next thing is public trust. Next thing is public trust. My basic question is, if you ask a common man, what they think about politician? If you say, I want to enter into politics, what will be a common man reply? Whether they say yes or no. Ask your parents, okay, I never want to write civil service, I want to enter into politics, Tamil Nadu is going for elections, leadership vacuum is there, correct? Okay, system seri illa, correct? So I want to fill that vacuum. What will be the reply of the parents is? They'll say, what happened to you? We see a doctor right now come. Because in India, politics is not a good place. What about civil services? What about civil services? If you go and say you're a street vendor, I'm writing a civil service examination. What will be the reply of a street vendor? First, he'll feel happy. You are writing a civil service, good Thambi, super. What the next thing he says is, okay, see my shop. And apart from this, he have a strong belief that Thambi, you are going to earn a lot. What a perception about civil service? What is the perception about civil services? Civil service means corruption. But NGOs have a great trust with the people. That's the trust factor is there with NGOs. And next thing is, last one, focus on left out areas. What does focus on left out areas means? Take an example of honor killing. What will be the political system reaction to honor killing? So what is the reaction of honor killing for politician? Assume that you are an SP and your constituency is shared by a minister. You go and say to him, sir, in our district we have honor killing, what we can do for it? What will be the reply of the minister for it? Is that he says that, okay, we can take action, go and arrest them. What will be the next thing the minister will say it? Please leave it, it will solve by itself. What is the reason why politicians never involved in honor killing? It's nothing but vote bank. Correct? If he disturbs something, he will not get the vote next time. What about private players? It's not profit making, they never care about honor killing. There comes the role of NGOs. What does power dependence means? If any changes need to be done in India, all these three players need to work in tandem. A good example is, take GM crops. What is GM crops is? Genetically modified crops. Out of these three players, who supported GM crops, genetically modified crops in agriculture? One is government. Government supported it because agriculture production is very less in India. So government supported it. Why market support? Logically, why market will support us? Because India is a huge market for agriculture. But civil society said no. Can you say why civil society said no? Environmental factors, seed security, all these ideas. So any changes need to be done. All these players need to work in tandem. That's called power dependence. Okay. Shall I go for the next page? Okay. Online candidates. Can I go for the next page? You put yes. Okay. Thank you. So the next one is blurring of boundaries. Just write it, all the things, I'll explain it. Left out by other parties. Someone is asking what is the word related to left out? Left out by other parties. Other parties means government and market. So what the third point is blurring of boundaries for socio-economic issues is we go for the year of 1991. So year of 1991 we call it as LPG era, correct? So in that aspects, before starting with 1991, take the example of the term security. So what are different terms you can attach in front of security? When you say security means what are prefixes you can attach in front of security is? One is internal security, okay. Then apart from internal security, food security. When you say food security means the most important thing also include nutritional security. Then apart from this, right now we are in technological era, what type of security we need to have is? Cyber security, correct? How many of you read a recent current affairs regarding this cyber security? Anyone gone through it? So after this Ladakh standoff, Mumbai got a power cut. What is the relationship between Ladakh standoff and Mumbai power cut? China used the cyber warfare, correct? How this can be a prelims question? They will not ask about this one. Go and check what are the different ways of cyber attacks. That can be a science and technology question. This is how UPSC take a lead, right? They will not directly ask about this Chinese attack on Mumbai power grid, but they ask what is malware, all those things. Just check that, okay? So cyber security is there, food security, we already finished, in income security, correct? One such security is energy. So energy security is the primary one for any country. Energy security can be equated with national security, correct? Before 1991, when you say energy security, that will be dominated only by government players like NTPC, NHPC, all are government players. So what government thought is national security is equated with energy security where government need to involve. But after 1991, you can see that along with government, we have Tata Power, Reliance Power. This is called blurring of boundaries, correct? Or another good example for this thing is, what about defense manufacturing in India? Is that government is going to concentrate or we are opening the space for private players for defense manufacturing? We are also opening the space for private players. Please understand, defense is one strategic area. But government is saying, no problem, we can open the space for private players. So Indian security is not only in the hands of the government, even private players is also responsible for it, right? Next thing is autonomous self-governing networks. It's nothing but the role of regulators. When you say role of regulators, can you give examples of regulators in India? If you take banking sector, who's the regulator in banking sector? RBI, correct? Capital markets or share markets, who's the regulators? SEBI, correct? And for telecom, we have TROI, correct? Can anyone say what is the role of a regulator? What it does in our system? Regulator. Huh? Fair play. Regulators are similar to umpires in, for example, cricket matches, correct? What the umpires do in cricket matches or any sports activity, what the umpire will do there? He is present along with the players, but what he is doing there in the game? Monitoring the players, ensuring the fair play, correct? Write on the role of regulators. If I am fast, let me know it. Write on the role of regulators. One is to ensure fair play. Ensure fair play. Role of regulators. Ensure fair play. And next thing is to resolve conflict. Resolve conflict among market players. When Jio came into picture, who was opposing Jio? Airtel, correct? We have Troy and CCI coming into picture. Next one is, I'm just giving the names of the regulators. If you got time, go and check them. What does CCI means? Competition Commission of India. Okay. Next thing is to protect consumer rights. Next thing is to protect consumer rights. To understand what is consumer rights means, is that in a mobile phone you have this do not disturb. If you activate do not disturb, there will be no commercial calls, correct? It's all initiative of Troy. You know how this happened, this do not disturb? There's a story behind it. Who was the previous president of India? Previous president of India, Pranab Mukherjee, correct? And he was a finance minister once. And that was the month of February, March. He was very busy in preparing the budget. There was a call to him. On the other side of the call, there is a person saying that whether you want any insurance. He was literally shocked. Okay. And he asked how you got my number. It's in public domain. Okay, whether you want the insurance or not. He said, no, please put the phone. Then he came and said to the government, what is this call? I'm very busy in presenting the budget and preparing the budget. There is some guy, unknown guy, asking whether I wanted insurance or not. Then they began to focus on this do not disturb ideas and all, correct? So a Troy comes into picture. My question is, right now we said about cricket, correct? How many of you going to put cricket as your hobby? That is main application form. You know what? Hobby section is there. Anyone having an idea of putting cricket as a hobby? And you know that in India, cricket is a religion. Can anyone say why in India cricket is dominant? Why we love the game cricket a lot? Emotion. Apart from emotion, what may be the other reason? There are multiple factors why we love the game of cricket a lot in India. When compared with other sports, why we love a game of cricket a lot? There are multiple reasons. Any idea? Anyone have an idea? Winning? Winning in globe. Please understand. That's the question. That's okay. Why that's dominance? That's my question. And please understand, cricket is played by a handful of countries. Not all countries are playing, only few countries. At least at the maximum 10 countries are playing, correct? Even countries are moving out of cricket. Can you say which country is moving out of cricket? Right now, in their country, cricket is not popular and we have players, but another 20 years down the line, there will be no one interested in cricket. Which country is that? Zimbabwe, a good example is West Indies, correct? But can you say why in India cricket is a religion? Why we are cricket mad country? Huh? Players from different states. Please understand there are multiple factors. One is the origin. Who created game of cricket is British, correct? We call it as demonstration effect. What is demonstration effect means? We also want to show that we can play the game of cricket. You know movie Lagan? It's a good example. What is demonstration effect in our life is if you want to be a millionaire or billionaire, which game you want to play? To demonstrate that I'm a millionaire or billionaire, which game you want to play right now is? Tennis. Apart from tennis, you know this golf. All big personalities play golf, correct? That's a demonstration effect. Apart from this, another reason is the commercial value of the game, correct? What is commercial value of the game is, if you take two pictures, one is Mahatma Gandhi, Virat Kohli. Young kid whom they can easily identify, Mahatma Gandhi or Virat Kohli? Virat Kohli. Please understand, in a given day, at least 5 times they want to watch Virat Kohli. Advertisements. And what are the earning of Virat Kohli? Any idea? How much he earns, Virat Kohli? They said that per year he earns around 500 to 600 crores. Not playing cricket. Apart from this, India is a tropical country. How a tropical country encourages cricket? We can't be good in basketball, we can't be good in tennis. One of the reasons is geographical location of India. We are in tropics and playing this game is more physically demanding. So we can't do it, correct? What about cricket? Cricket is also called as gentleman game. What is gentleman game is? This is the only game where if you are interested, you can play. Or else what you can do? You can simply stand there, correct? If you are can you say in the entire cricket, which player is highly stressed player? There are 11 players there. Who is highly stressed player in the game of cricket? Please understand, it's only the wicket keeper. All the players have a lot of time, correct? Bowlers, 6 ball, they take a break. And there are a lot of players who is not good in fielding, correct? Can you say in Indian team who is a good example for that? Who never fields properly. Right now team improved a lot. But any good examples of players never field a lot? Okay, Bumrah is one. Another good example, you know this Virendra Sehwag. Go and check his run out. Very pathetic run outs, correct? Never run between the wickets. And another reason why cricket is dominant in India is the cost of the game. What is the cost of the game is for playing cricket, that is 0 rupees invested, correct? How 0 rupees is invested is, think of your school days. If you want to play a game of cricket, what is required is not bat and ball. Anything looking like a bat, anything looking like a ball. Okay, once the exam is over, you take the pad and what you do is take the question paper. Idella or question paper, correct? Club 3 or 4 papers, combine it and you find a good slave and you can play the game of cricket, correct? So this is an interview question, why in India cricket is very dominant, correct? Right now other games also picking up. What other games are picking up? Kabaddi is one, and individual sports are picking up. Can anyone say what a target of Indian government for Olympics? Anyone have an idea? They have set some target for Olympics gold medal. Anyone have an idea? That is, we need to get 50 medals, correct? That's a target. We'll see what happens. But China is always winning the medals a lot, but in India we don't have that thing, right? Finally, last one, use of new tools and techniques. We can put the example of e-governance. Can put the example of e-governance. So these are the features of governance. Shall I go for the next slide? Yeah. That's correct. That's the point what we hypothesized 1991 NTPC Tata Power. That's a blurring of boundaries. What is blurring of boundaries means? Government is not taking every responsibility in the society. So government is not saying that I should be responsible for education, health, security. They say that we'll open the space, private players or NGOs come and do the role. For example, defense, ISRO, right now in ISRO also private players are encouraged, space explorations. So what government is saying that I'm opening the space, come and solve the society's problem. Don't ask me, I should be the responsible person, right? Even a good example, privatization of railways right now happening, right? That can be a prelims question. What is the first train route being privatized? It's the first time in India it's happening, privatizing a train route, correct? Which route is that? Anyone have an idea? Which express is that? Huh? Which express? Tejas. Tejas, Tejas. Okay, what is the train route is? Just check that thing. Okay. Which company is responsible for it? And measures of governance, this given by World Bank. There are 6 measures. Measures of governance. So there are 6 measures of governance given by World Bank. Right on the first point, and we'll go for the other one. So what is voice and accountability is regarding rights. Voice and accountability is regarding rights. Just write the first point, I'll explain it, go for the next one. So when you say rights means, what strikes your mind? Based on your UPSC preparation, what strikes your mind when you say rights means? Fundamental rights. My question is, why it is called as fundamental? Don't say basic rights. Why it is called as fundamental rights? Why it is called as fundamental? For everyone, for what reason? For everyone is okay. For what reason that rights need to be there for everyone? Huh? To have a normal life. What does that normal life means? Satisfy the basic needs. Okay, then any other thing? What is the term fundamental? That's correct. To lead a normal life, in what areas need to have a normal life? Please understand why it is called as fundamental means, as a citizen or any common man, if you want to enjoy a dignified life and democratic life, we need to have this fundamental rights. Right from Article 14 to 32, correct? So that's the reason why it's called fundamental rights. When you say rights means, please understand in Indian sense, it's not only fundamental rights. DPSP is also part of rights. Can you understand that? DPSP is called as economic rights and social rights. In future, if government want to enhance the fundamental rights, what are the area they need to explore is? They need to go for only DPSP. And as an example for it, you know this right to education? Right to education was once a part of DPSP, right now it's part of fundamental rights. If government want to expand or if parliament want to expand the fundamental rights, they go and check for DPSP. Please keep in mind when you say rights in UPSC questions, don't assume only in fundamental rights. DPSP also got certain rights. So voice and accountability is regarding rights. That's one measure. Next thing is political stability. Second one is political stability. When you say political stability, there are two factors. One is tenure. What is tenure means? What is the lifespan of a prime minister in India? What is the lifespan of a prime minister in India? Okay, as per constitution, how many years a person can be a prime minister? Maximum of 5 years, correct? In US, how many years a person can be a president is? 4 years. Can you say in which country right now there's a president for life? Which country right now we have president for life is? Until his death, probably he'll be the president. Russia, okay, apart from Russia? North Korea until his death. Right now China has done it, correct? They say that Xi Jinping will be the president for life. That's the beauty of democracy, correct? Right now in India, every 5 years, we got a chance to change the leadership. But what about China? Literally no, correct? That's the biggest problem of communism. So tenure, that is one important aspect of political stability. And next thing is ability to make laws. Next thing is ability to make laws. So government need to have the ability to make laws. Right now we have Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So they need to pass the laws in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. That's called political stability. Next thing is absence of violence. When you say absence of violence, there are two dimensions for it. One is external threats. So when you say external threats, what are threats for India externally? So what are external threats for India? Okay, there are three major external threats for India. What are three major external threats for India? Insurgency is internal threat. My asking external threats. External problems for India. What are the major external problems for India from security point? One is terrorism. Okay, one that you can put as terrorism. Terrorism means which country is the biggest problem for India regarding terrorism is? Pakistan. Not only Pakistan, please understand, it's Afghanistan. Afghanistan is the biggest headache for India. That is the reason why we focus a lot of energy on Afghanistan. If Afghanistan is unstable, the biggest problem is for India. Cross-border terrorism. Pakistan is also involved, apart from Afghanistan. Next thing is Pakistan. So Pakistan is the other state actor, a threat for India, Pakistan. Next biggest player in that thing is China. China is the biggest player, correct? So what do you think about this Ladakh aggression of China? Is that India won that aggression? What do you think about that? Right now we have thrown Chinese out and they are disengaged from Ladakh, correct? Is that you know all these things? Media attention was given for it, correct? So what do you think about future? There will be no aggression like this or? No one knows, but there are a lot of predictions in it. Probably China can revert back. And Indian diplomacy effectively worked in that areas. They are able to convince Chinese, please go back. It's not good for you. And please understand, India and China is also emerging power, correct? And how China was using this time period for this Ladakh adventures is because of this corona pandemic, they thought that India will not properly respond. But India has given a proper response. And which force was responsible for it? Anyone have an idea? You know the special frontier force, NOVA required for UPSC? It's all made of Tibetans. Is that, you know, special frontier force is made of Tibetans. And India has developed this Tibetan force focusing on Chinese. And why Tibetans are very focused on this Chinese aggression is not only to protect India, they also want to make a revenge, correct? Because they were thrown out of Tibet. So that's the reason. So we'll see what happens in future. One is China is the biggest threat. And next thing is internal threat. Next thing is internal threat. So what are the biggest internal threat for India? What are the biggest internal threat for India? There are three major internal threats for India. Insurgency, correct? When you say insurgency means which part of India is known for insurgency? There you should not get confused. Sometimes you will be wrong. Please understand, northeastern states are known for insurgency. Never get confused. Naxalism is in red corridor states. Red corridor states means which are the states? Chhattisgarh, Bihar, correct, West Bengal, Maharashtra, these are the areas. Even we have in Andhra Pradesh, in Tamil Nadu also there is some presence, microscopic presence. Next thing is Maoism, insurgency, Maoism, and finally terrorism. When you say terrorism means there is a local terrorism is there. Which are the states known for local terrorism in India? Local terrorism, which are the states are there? Okay, one is Jammu and Kashmir, not Maharashtra, it's there in Punjab. Punjab and Jammu and Kashmir are known for local terrorism. How this information is relevant for you in civil services? This particular discussion, external threat, internal threat, how that is relevant for you? Right now you're preparing for civil service. How much is personally relevant to you? You are seeing from India perspective, but as an individual, how in civil service that's personally related to you? Please, not better governance. I'm asking you from personal life aspect. You know this cadres? Cadre. Cadre means which state you want to work, correct? Based on these informations, which are the safest states for you? Which are the safest states for you right now? Personally, there is no disturbance, nothing will be there. Which are the states for that? One is Kerala, Tamil Nadu. Next, parts of Karnataka, Andhra, parts of Andhra, correct? Karnataka is safe, parts of Andhra, correct? And if you take rest of India, always a problem is there, correct? And what determines your cadre? Rank, correct? What determines your rank? Your exam marks, correct? Exam pass, especially mains marks and interview marks, correct? Keep that in mind while you are writing an answer in your mains, while saying a word in interview. I'm going to say an example of a friend. The first attempt, he got into police services. Okay. And my question is, if UPSC 10 marks, what may be the best mark UPSC gives to you? Out of 10 marks, what is the best mark UPSC gives to you? 4. Probably they give 5 marks. If you are writing a manageable answer, what will be the mark given to you? Any idea? Manageable answer. Not a perfect answer, but manageable answer. What will be the mark given to you? So they give around 2 to 3. Assume 3 marks. In 10 mark difference in UPSC results, what will be the rank difference? Any idea? 10 mark difference. You are in the list, but 10 mark there's a difference, means what will be the rank difference will be? It will be 100 rank difference will be there. Can you understand the point? For 10 mark, there's a 100 rank difference. And what a friend, in the first attempt, he got into IPS and he got into West Bengal. I'm saying in 2008-9. He got into West Bengal. 8-9 or 6-7 sometimes. And you know that first posting as an IPS officer, it will be always trouble district. What is trouble district means? More law and order problems will be there. And he was posted in a district where Maoism was highly present there. One day they were conducting an operation which went bad. But luckily there was no loss of life. In that operation, the police team got split into 2. One is a friend with the constable and rest of police team got split up. And he was get caught in a bunker-like situation, small area where he was get caught, but Maoists never saw him. He called up the control room and said that, we are here, please rescue us. For that, control room gave a reply, sir, please wait there. Probably takes 24 hours because Maoism presence is there. We just monitor that, then we'll rescue you. Literally take 24 hours. He was sitting there with the constable without food, nothing. And we asked, what was in your mind? I was thinking about my mains examination. And we asked, why you are thinking about a mains examination? Because in mains examination, GS paper, I left 3 questions. The reason for leaving the 3 questions is hand pain. I thought I'm writing a lot, my hand is paining, so I just left 3 questions. And he said, I know the answer for 3 questions. And I can write a perfect answer. When you write a perfect answer, what will be the mark for the 3 questions? 5 into 3, 15 marks. He says, if I got my 15 marks, probably I will not be in IPS. I will be in IAS. Even leave out the 5 marks. If I score 3 marks, I will get 9 marks. Probably I will be in IPS, not in West Bengal. And what happened next year, he came and write the examination. He got into foreign services. And he landed in Egypt. That time, Arab Spring was happening in Egypt. You know Arab Spring, correct? Violence in Egypt. He said, my bad luck is not going anywhere. I thought police services first and go for foreign service. Once I land in Egypt, there's Arab Spring. Correct? Right now, he's somewhere in Europe. He's enjoying his life. And he said that even 1 mark makes a huge difference, correct? Right now, you are passionate enough to get into civil services, correct? You say that no problem, I will be in Nagaland, no problem, and I will be in Arunachal Pradesh. I'll see what Chinese will do. That's not a problem for you, correct? But who's the other one is going to travel along with you? Who's the other one going to travel along with you? Family means your life partner, correct? Apart from life partner, who the other one is? Your son and daughters, correct? They need to pay the price. And the life partner will say, correct? அன்னைக்கே சொன்னேன், correct? எங்க அப்பா விட்ட, correct? I already said to my father, this guy is not worth. He said, because IAS, IPS, I married. Right now, I'm roaming like a nomad. Okay. So, right now, it seems to be a very laughing thing, but reality is very different. Please always keep in mind, once you prepare for civil services, 1 mark, 2 marks have a huge difference in your life. Whether you want to be in Karnataka, whether you want to be in Kerala, or you want to be in Nagaland or Arunachal Pradesh, correct? And these are the areas I am saying only from personal aspects, your life perspective. But you have an ambition, I want to change India, that's all good. But reality aspects also, there's a problem like this, correct? Right now, China tension is happening there. Where's the first put China will put us? Where's the first point China will enter us? Arunachal Pradesh. Who will be the first target? If you are an IPS officer, you will be the first target for them, correct? Clear uniform with a cap, correct? So keep that in mind. So these are the aspects: political stability and absence of violence. Okay. So I'll just stop with this. Okay. I'll just say the books, what are the things need to be studied. Okay, my experience, I'll share it later, correct? Classes are very limited, I'll share it later. How accountability is related to rights, I'll just say it. We'll see what is accountability and how that is related to rights and all. A simple way of saying that thing is, even if you have a rights, whether it's being enforced or not, that's called accountability. We'll see that. I'll say the books from government to governance. From government to governance. Kuldeep Mathur. From government to governance, Kuldeep Mathur. My suggestion is this book, you can buy it after your June, once you finish off your prelims. Okay. It's a very small book for understanding the concept, and if you have 2 or 3 friends, you can share the book also. From government to governance, Kuldeep Mathur. Second one is, second source, second ARC reports, second Administrative Reforms Commission reports. In that 5 reports is enough, which we'll discuss in the class. Beyond that, if you have time and interest, you can study the other reports. My suggestion is not required. But if you want to have better understanding, even if you are studying other reports, go and check a title called Summary of Recommendation. In every report, there's a title called Summary of Recommendations. That'll be around 4 to 5 pages, that's enough. Okay, because all reports are 200, 300 pages, you can't study it. So second ARC reports, 5 reports we will discuss in the class. Last one is newspaper. Third one is newspaper. And regarding institute material, right now what we discuss in the class, go and check in institute material. Even my suggestion is you can do after June, just attend the class, have a basic understanding, that's enough. Okay. And if anyone bought Lakshmiyant for governance, my suggestion is based on newspaper, you read the Lakshmiyant. Lakshmiyant is a very exhaustive book for governance. Based on the newspaper articles, you relate with the topics and read. Okay. And how to study is from the reverse direction. Newspaper, second ARC and Kuldeep Mathur. Okay. Kuldeep Mathur you buy after June. Not required right now. Don't waste your time on that. You can buy it after June. Okay. So any clarification in today's sessions, any doubts? Just go through it. Any doubts in online? Is that you're able to understand the classes? Online candidates here offline, you're able to get a hold over the classes? So public administration options not required. You doesn't need to read that book. Okay. Okay, can we wind off the session? Online candidates, please. Okay. Okay, then we'll meet in the next class. Thank you.